New on Curiosity Stream.
From time to time, we have collisions between asteroids and the Earth.
We track them, we study them, we hope the big one never comes. Don't look up, it's Asteroid Rush. And alligators. They rarely get sick. They even outlasted the dinosaurs. Could they hold the secret to human longevity?
Their blood could have antibacterial applications.
Wade into the investigation on immortal alligators. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve will throw hell to find out who we're toasting.
Yeah, and today, it's a sad note, man. We found out earlier today. I want to say Ted alerted us. Just kind of out of the blue, we're sitting in the office. We did not know that this man was ill. We did not know that he'd been fighting a long illness. He has been on this show at least twice, might be more. I'm not 100%. But Gilbert Gottfried passed away earlier today. His family says after a fight with a long illness. He was 67 years old. And one of the really essy things that we saw on Twitter today, just essy because we like Gilbert Gottfried a great deal. Hopefully you got to hear the interview that we did with him because he's that fun all the time. But a picture was posted. And the picture originally had been posted by Gilbert Gottfried. And he was saying R.I.P. because in the picture, he's taking a selfie with Bob Saget and Louis Anderson.
Who both have passed.
Yeah. Right. And he had posted that picture saying, hey, man, two of my friends, you're not going to miss them. Comedy, da. So they kind of reposted that picture today and you just look at it and you're like, damn, man, that is no good. But, friend of the show, very, very funny person. And what you heard on that interview is how he is. You meet some celebrities, you meet some people, and they're a lot different when you sit down. Because everything they do, and I get it, they're in showbiz, that was him. I mean, how he talked, the way he acted, I don't even know if they gave him a script for movies, because he was never different, right? And they'd even tell you, I'm not going to win an Academy Award. I don't try to reach. I'm not trying to do drama. I don't do anything. I talk loud. I have a crazy voice. People know who I am, and he stuck with it. And he was very, very firm in that. And I'm always like, man, I appreciate that so much. They said me. If you don't like it, you know who I'm going to be in every movie. I mean, it's like, I can't do anything about it. So, for Gilbert, man, that is what we are drinking today.
Hell yeah.
So, we poured this booze, and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So, over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola, bichola!
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Steve, throw hell, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
Oh, I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Patrick. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. All right, Patrick, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. Your choice of one of three stories: The Wonderful World of Drugs, Bite Me, in other words, what did someone find in their food, and finally, Interior Decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
We gotta go inside.
In this case, it is not in the butt, it is in the vagina. A woman who used a common household item during a sexual encounter stunned doctors by revealing she left it there for 4 years. She left something in her bladder for 4 years after what they call an erotic experience went horribly wrong, and she was too embarrassed to seek help. 45-year-old suffered multiple urinary tract infections over the years, but eventually she went to the hospital when the pain became too much to handle. This happened in Tunisia, and doctors there, they did an x-ray that showed the object in her bladder. So she was rushed into surgery. She had a giant bladder stone measuring 3 inches by 2.5 inches. That had to be removed from her body, all right? And the bladder stones are the hard masses of minerals that normally develop when urine is not completely emptied from the bladder, but the stones can grow around foreign objects lodged inside. Well, she later told doctors she had inserted it into her vagina during a sexual experience 4 years earlier. Medical experts explained that after the object had calcified in her vagina, it moved to the bladder by eroding both the vaginal and cystic walls. They also noted it was unusual that she had not developed a urinary incontinence as a result of her condition. Anyway, things were pretty bad for her. They did manage to remove this thing, and she is slowly recovering. But the question is, what did she slide into her panty hamster? Was it a baby shoe, a glass tumbler, a golf ball, or a good old-fashioned vibrator? So a baby shoe, glass tumbler, golf ball, or a vibrator?
Oh, man. What's the gallery thinking today?
Where'd you say it was?
In Tunisia.
Not a golf ball. I'm going glass tumbler there, Patrick.
All right, well, I'm thinking 3.5 inches by 2 inches. Maybe a baby shoe?
Dude, I'm with you. You said those measurements. That sounds like a baby shoe. I feel like a tumbler's taller.
Okay, so Ted and Patrick going baby shoe?
Yeah, baby shoe.
Bronze baby shoe.
I'm going glass tumbler. We're going to find out what doctors removed. Was it a baby shoe, a glass tumbler, a golf ball, or a vibrator next? Next.
Oh!
That was a tease.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, categories: interior decorating on profile. This woman used a common household item there as she was having some fun in the bedroom. Unfortunately, it got lodged inside her, but she didn't seek treatment for 4 years. Doctors were successfully able to remove the object. Question is, was it a baby shoe, a glass tumbler, a golf ball, or a vibrator?
And Patrick, that is the very question that we posed to you. You agree with
It's a
Ted
very
Smith?
weird question, yeah.
It is a weird question. Both of you guys agreed that it's a baby shoe. Unfortunately, as much as I wish that were true, it is not true. But understand one thing. She did not use a baby shoe, but I have a list of things that have been found. It's a sad list, but things that have been found in people's rectums, vaginas, etc., etc. Baby shoe was on the list. So somebody has, in fact, put a baby shoe in their vagina. Just not her. In this case, Miles Montgomery, you went with a glass tumbler.
Glass tumbler. Bam!
Good call, Miles. 4 years she left the vagina.
Fermenting. Now for all TV news all time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
This cocktail's a little tangy.
Oh, God. What do you call this? That would be the redheaded slut.
Let me see. Everybody in here watching or has Netflix or had Netflix at some point.
Yeah.
Do you ever rate the stuff you watch?
No, and they always ask, and I don't. And I probably should, 'cause my understanding is that they're asking for your rating, because it's you, and then it will make suggestions of other things you will like later. Right?
Correct.
So on my account, it's like both kids, the wife, and me. So who's watching? And you go through that, and then they'll ask you to rate.
Same
I believe
whole
that's
time.
why they ask. Yeah. But I never do it.
Yeah, I rarely do it. I mean, I think I've done it like 4 times. But Netflix is pretty good about keeping you...
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I always talk about, if you watch gangster shows from other countries, now all of a sudden all the gangster shows, it's just that.
Yeah, basically it's a giant pop-up ad for you.
So now they're saying Netflix is rolling out a double thumbs up.
2 thumbs up, Siskel and Ebert.
All right.
So, well, like, I could give a single thumb if I think, okay, it's good, but double thumb if I really, really like it.
Right. And they just say a thumbs up still lets us know what you liked. So we use this response to make similar recommendations. But a double thumbs us tell us what you loved. It helps us get even more specific with your recommendations.
But when they ask you to rate it, because I haven't really paid attention, is it like on a number scale or like good,
No,
bad?
it's just like thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's pretty simple. I just never think about it because I always just put on a show, watch it, and then it's like you get to the end of the series, or if you pause, like sometimes you pause something to go pee, you'll come back. It's like, are you enjoying this?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like, stay out of my business.
And social media is weird that way. Someone could post something on Twitter, and it's unfortunately the sad passing of a friend, pet, something very close in her life, and you want to show them some sympathy. So you hit the like button. I like this.
Right.
17 years old, your dog died. Cool. Liking it.
Right.
And then a big heart comes up. I'm not saying they shouldn't have different buttons. I just feel
they
at
do.
times-
So
I
like
mean,
on,
you feel weird
on
when you do that.
Facebook, you have like different. You can hit like, and it still gives you an option of like you're sad for them, or you're
okay.
laughing.
Right.
But you're right.
I mean, somebody brought it up. Like, there are that many people happy that my dog died, or they
Your
showing
mom
me
died.
sympathy.
This is awesome.
Right.
I mean, right. Instagram and Twitter are tough. Like literally, this happened to somebody we know, and a mutual friend of ours. He's like, I didn't read the whole post. I just liked it. It's like, oh yeah, unfortunately that dog died. I go, but you were on Instagram. It's the only choice you had.
Right. It's like SNL. Why did you like that?
Yeah, we didn't talk about SNL on here, but yeah, that was a pretty good skit from last weekend. Why did you like that?
I have not seen it yet.
I mean, it's exactly what you think. But even when they started, Jake Gyllenhaal sitting there, and he's like, I am not aware of what this show is.
Right.
Like, I don't think I should be here. I mean, look, I'd like to sit there and act like that whole theory of that was ridiculous, but I don't know. Sometimes you get a like from somebody, you're like, oh, they're paying attention. Or sometimes you'd be like, you know what? Let her know I'm still around.
Like that.
Like that.
You like that?
You like that.
I know. Maybe they should put that in.
You like that? This hot woman's dog has died. I like that. Why did you like that? Well, I thought maybe I'd have a chance.
She's hot.
If she saw that I was sympathetic toward her dog, maybe, I don't know.
Simon Cowell, you know him from American Idol, America's Got Talent, all that good stuff. Well, you also might know over the last couple of years, his face changed a little bit.
A little bit.
Correct.
A lot of it.
Yeah. So he was there at the Kids Choice Awards.
Chids. Listen.
These are my chids.
Say hello to my
what did you call them?
Chids.
Chids. And he looked a little bit different again. Basically, I gotta respect this. He says he's done pumping his face with Botox. So he was looking, quote, like something out of a horror film. He even said his 8-year-old son, Eric, was in hysterics over his face.
I'm assuming that Botox will go. I figured if you put something in your body, unless you removed it, it would stay there. So he might be done doing it, but wouldn't it still be in his face? Or I guess, does it dissipate
a little
over
bit,
time?
but I feel like Botox, you gotta go keep getting injections.
Oh. Right.
Isn't it
But it's still in there, isn't it?
Right. I guess it just doesn't look as... The problem with... Right, because you see all these older actors and actresses sometimes, you're just like, that is way too much plastic surgery.
Right.
But I don't think people fathom, like, it's very addictive. So when you start it, it's so subtle, nobody really notices, and then before you realize it, you're going full
do
bore.
a little more. I can do some of this. Right. And then at some point you go Melanie Griffith and you go, what happened to you, man?
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, it scared my kid. He said there was a stage where I might have gone a bit too far. Saw a picture of me from before the other day, and I didn't recognize it as me. Now I have facials, but nothing too extravagant at the moment.
Good.
So you can still have a skin routine. And I'm not against it either way. I'm just like, yeah, he definitely started changing a little bit. The scariest was Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen him in like 5 years maybe. And for some reason he popped up like in the news, and I'm looking and I'm like, is that the same Kenny Rogers?
Kenny just opened a surprise gift.
Yeah, constantly.
Obviously, everybody in Seattle knows the name Alex Rodriguez. Pretty famous baseball player. Now a commentator on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. It's also, he famously, it seemed like it was only like a year or two ago, was dating Jennifer Lopez. Now,
they were engaged, I believe, or he tried.
Okay, no, you're right. They might have been engaged. It was like a serious deal, and people were all about it. Then they broke up. Then it seemed like Alex Rodriguez was really trying to get her back, right? So obviously, it's not something you'd want to bring up a ton with him. She's back with Ben Affleck, which is Ben Affleck. Who can blame her? So this is A-Rod. I forget the main guy's name, but this is live on Sunday Night Baseball. This is the guy.
Well, this is so ESPN. They run the Yankees and the Red Sox because I was watching this.
Right, because it was a big deal. It's the first weekend of the baseball season. You got to have Yankees Red Sox.
So ESPN2 or one of the other ESPN channels does the equivalent of the Manning cast.
All right,
where it's A-Rod and this other guy just commenting on the game as it's in progress.
Correct.
And people can text in. They can,
Oh, all right. I didn't know. I knew he was a commentator. I didn't realize they had a separate one.
It's more of like a Manning type situation. So I flip back and forth, and I'm like, oh, the other guy with A-Rod was really funny.
All right.
A-Rod was giving insight but it was more of them reading comments from other people.
Okay.
All these things and just talking.
But his broadcast partner opens up and just starts. Remember, J-Lo just got engaged to Ben Affleck.
It's a great time in sports. You have a new Masters champion. The NBA players about to start. Baseball's in full swing. People getting engaged. I mean, it's a happy time in the world.
It's great. Happiness and the world peace is what we're looking for.
You know what? I think of Gandhi and you. That's how I am.
The 2-1 pitch.
The 2-1 pitch. Jesus.
I mean, obviously they're friends because they're like, that is a personal dig. Mm-hmm. But I kind of respect it too.
That's funny. That's funny though.
Yeah, and you know how that is. I mean, look, A-Rod could be. He's a massive, successful baseball player, this and that, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, he liked a girl. It didn't work out. He got his heart broke. He ended up looking a little foolish trying to get her back. It's like, I don't care who you are, man, woman, man, woman, like, if you've been in a relationship and you didn't marry the first one, you've probably been in this spot.
Right. Well, here's the one thing I noticed about difference from the Manning cast. The Manning cast would bring in guest people who are, somewhat involved or like the game, like the team. There are other athletes, whatever. But on this one, it's A-Rod. A-Rod, in my mind, is a very polarizing baseball player. If he played for your team and you won World Series,
you're going to like him, sure.
If you live in Seattle, you probably don't like A-Rod too much based on how he bolted.
I don't think Texas people like him much either.
They probably don't like him either. The other thing about him is that with Peyton and Eli, they have a rapport with each other. Not that these two don't, but they're both joking and they're both funny. A-Rod is like the guy that doesn't really have a sense of humor.
Yeah, he's the stiff.
Well, in his defense, right, he was practicing. Like, Peyton Manning still has a good personality.
Exactly. But A-Rod is just dry A-Rod doing analytical baseball talk. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like he just might as well be the color guy on the regular broadcast.
Correct.
He doesn't bring the comedy. It's not that he doesn't do a good job and give you an insight, but that's not why you're there on that channel. ESPN's already doing it.
Right. Well, and look, that's the other thing too, right? We see this all the time in entertainment. It's like, all right, the Manning cast thing really worked, and people really liked it.
Sure.
Again, Peyton Manning has a great personality.
That helps.
Mm-hmm. People like him. People didn't like Eli as much, but now you see him on there, and they're brothers. They're having fun. They have in guests. People are cursing. They got to drop them. But it worked. So now every sport,
everyone's going to
right. And look, there's a lot of other websites out there that have been doing this, right? Like. I know there's a bunch of like the Barstool dudes that do it.
Sure,
and stuff.
Sure.
It's like these watch parties where you're kind of just watching. It's almost like Twitch, whereas they're doing it more direct. But yeah, I would imagine almost every sport now we're going to have that. I want to say even for some of the USA qualifiers, there was a channel that was just like Lexi Lawless and somebody else, just kind of. It might not have been Lawless, but kind of sitting in a studio talking about it.
But when you think about past players that have personalities that are entertaining,
Lexi Lawless is not that person.
You do not think A-Rod.
Lexi Lawless is just as polarizing. I would say.
No, that's the thing, right? It's like I know he knows what he's talking about, but like, can you say anything without sounding like a douche? Even if you said, "Hey, I really like your shoes," well, like F you. I don't know what it is.
It'd always be better to have just
like
people from a different genre, whether it's two comedians who love baseball, or
one of the Manning casts I watched, they brought in Snoop, and it was hilarious. Snoop is a Steelers fan. The Steelers started getting their ass kicked, but he's legitimately getting pissed off, and I just like because you can see him watching the game. And Peyton started digging at him a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't think your team's doing something. I'm like, man, I know that, Peyton. I just wish God damn it, I hate. So, but he's watching this, but he's giving his real reactions as the plays are happening. And he knows football like we know football. We do not play football. Obviously, we did not play football on a professional level, but he knows enough about the rules of sport, etc. That to listen to talk, it was pretty interesting, right? It really was. But I thought it was hilarious because I'm like, this is not a football guy. This is Snoop. But it's Snoop a little out of his element because he's legitimately, just like any of us, if you're watching your favorite team, maybe this isn't the moment I want to talk to you. You know what I mean? When the games get intense. And Snoop was in that mode, and it was cool to see Snoop watching the game like the rest of us watching.
I was going to say, another West Virginia guy, Pat McAfee, when they had him on, the game is a blowout, but he's worried about the bet. And who's going to cover? Are they going to hit the over?
Which makes it entertaining.
Right, so he's losing his ass, and it's like, it's funny, because it took the Manning brothers a minute to catch up and be like, oh, that's what he's doing.
Right.
But I also think those shows, like Monday Night Football, like if the Seahawks aren't playing, I almost exclusively watch the Mannings when they're on. But if it's your team playing, I think you still want the traditional broadcast.
You want the broadcast. Sure.
And all the, with Snoop Dogg, you can bust on him all you want, but the bottom line was Peyton Manning bought about 30 or 40 Papa John's franchises in Colorado alone when they legalized weed.
Right.
And when they asked him about it, he went like, people are hungry.
Well, I also respect Peyton Manning, too, as everybody always talks about coaching, or is he going to go into broadcasting full time? And he's kind of like, no. Like, he's having fun. He still does a bunch of stuff. They still have the Manning Passing Academy and this and that.
Right.
It's like, right. And remember, last year, they only did that for maybe half the games because they were just trying it out the first couple of weeks, and then they took a break, and then they did some around the holidays, and they took another break. So it's like, yeah, that one just worked.
And they need to bring in guests in the baseball end of it. So for sure. Like, people have personalities. John Kruk, another guy from West Virginia. He's pretty good. Bring in Danny McBride. Bring in Kevin Costner. Bring in
people that act in movies and TV
bring in
shows.
Adam Sandler. So whether it's the Sandler, bring in those guys who
you bring in Kenny Effin Powers.
Sure,
right? Like you're going to attract other people that aren't even like just baseball fans.
And let's say baseball is such a dry sport to watch on TV, which anybody says, but you definitely need someone.
You need to fill time.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Where football, right? There's a lot of time to fill,
but every 40 seconds or so, you're back to the 6 seconds of activity.
That's what we said. 6 seconds more, and you get 30 seconds off.
And all we do is, and you contemplate strategy. Like, to me, that's the interesting thing about watching football is, right, it's a 6 second play, and then for the next 40 seconds, you're like, please, dude, please just do the goddamn screen pass, right? And everything's situational. You understand the situation. You realize most of football is you hoping what they'll do on the next play.
Yeah. If you're into the NBA, they have some. This year they've changed the rules a little bit for the playoffs, so that they have almost like a play-in tournament, couple teams. So that starts tonight.
Oh,
if you want to check that out.
Is that part of that Brooklyn-Cleveland matchup? I believe it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Brooklyn barely snuck in, but Kyrie's back, so they should win.
And Durant's going off. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. West Virginia woman tells cops she sells meth because she can't get a real job. Meanwhile, a man has hot coffee spilled in his lap and sues as it burned his berries and his knob. Florida man fakes being a DEA agent so he can get a discount on Wendy's down the street. Florida man says Putin made me do it when pulled over for speeding by the heat. And a Canadian man tells the judge he didn't know it was illegal to sell his Percocet. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
Top story, we go to Florida where a man just wanted a discount. Authorities were called to the local Wendy's on reports of a customer that was getting confrontational with employees. The customer was identified as a regular at the Wendy's and had been getting discounts from the branch thanks to a friend that worked there. But after the friend's employment there was finished, so did the discounts. So he did what any sane customer would do. He claimed to be a DEA agent.
Now the question is, what discount do you get? Is it 10%? Is it free? Is it 25%? Why is this so important?
And why do you get a discount?
On a $6 meal.
Exactly.
That you need to go through these,
and if you're a DEA agent or FBI, CIA, like, your salary is on the tax dime.
Yeah.
Like, you're and I don't say it because I don't like you. I don't say this because I hate you, but like, wait a minute. I pay taxes, you get paid as a result. I'm not giving you a discount. Mm-hmm. Like, sorry, man.
That just...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I got nothing against
pizza,
them. But
like a free pizza. Like, I don't know. I just never.
What do you,
outside of
a DEA, I'd be like, look, here's the deal. If you're DEA, it's the deal I make with you. The last guy that you shook down, you give me 10% of what you found on the I'll hook you up for a year.
I paid for it.
But here's the drugs I like.
I still think it's just funny. He's going to hook up at fast food.
Right. Well, sometimes they'll, if you're high enough up in the branch, I think they'll give you a little discount card that you can use when,
your buddies.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You're on the job. I understand that.
Right.
But at the same point in time, like Steve said, everybody else pays.
Right.
Everybody else pays for the food. And I understand, look, if I own a pizza shop and someone comes in and tries to rob us, and a cop catches that guy,
you're getting hooked up.
Without question. Now I have a personal relationship with this guy. I'm like, dude, anytime you want to come in, feed your family for the weekend.
How big's your family?
Pizzas around the house, or whatever the deal is. But not every day you get a discount when you walk in.
And like you said, even then the discount is like 10%.
You save 60 cents.
Right. Good work.
Okay, man.
Damn, man. In other news, as if Putin wasn't to blame for enough already, it seems that he's caused some issues in Florida as well. A man was stopped by police after he was caught speeding, with the officer clocking him at 50 in a 30, and also running a stop sign. He tried to talk his way out of the serious charges by telling the officer that his Challenger was in sport mode and he didn't know how to get out of it. then moved to trying to get out of the way of an oncoming car, which the officer was able to disprove. So he finally gave his last-ditch excuse that Vladimir Putin was threatening nuclear war and he wanted to get home to figure out what was going on.
Originality.
All right.
Yeah, right. None of these excuses swayed the officer, and he was hit with the charges. I like how he was sitting there like, yeah, there was a guy coming at me and I was trying to get out of his way. It's like, I was staring in the same direction you were.
Try
man.
again.
I was
Vladimir Putin. Okay.
Exactly. Well done. Well done. Let's go to West Virginia there, Miles, where a woman revealed a little too much about her occupation. She was a passenger in a car that was pulled over for unspecified violations and was ousted by another passenger who, during questioning, told officers that she admitted to everyone that she was in possession of drugs upon spotting the officer behind them. They searched her backpack and found a good amount of meth and paraphernalia inside, but when she was taken into custody, she admitted to selling the drugs because she can't get a job anywhere else.
Okay. They're hard to come by.
Sure.
There.
I mean, I believe
Alta. I know where she lives.
but it's still illegal.
Right.
They do have a resort there. She could work there.
It just won't sway the cops. That's all. Hey, man, I believe you. It's a struggle. But you still can't sell meth.
Right?
That's all we're saying. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sorry about the struggle, but
Can you get good drugs in Terra Alta?
You know, I never tried.
sure.
It was a resort, so it was too rich for my blood.
I see.
A man in Canada was sent straight to sentencing after courts heard his excuse for selling drugs. We're going to keep on this tack here. He was caught selling Percocet pills that he had acquired after sustaining an injury. He said that he was told by a friend that he could sell the pills for some extra cash, which he needed as his workers' compensation payments had come to a stop. But told authorities that he didn't know the chemical composition of the pills, and more importantly, didn't know that it was illegal to sell them.
I actually believe the guy.
This caused the complete opposite of the desired effect, with the judge saying that he was willfully ignorant of what he was doing.
Anyone who tells you, like, oh yeah, man, I got a surgery and they gave me like 30 Percocets, only like took 6 or 8 of them. You know, it wasn't I couldn't poop, whatever. You can sell the rest.
Right.
One of your best friends always chime in. You can sell those easy.
But they were like, you know the brand name Percocet. You knew what you were selling. It's not an over-the-counter sort of a thing that you could just buy.
Correct.
You know,
But even if you didn't know, say you're telling the truth. It's like, well, now you know.
Right. There you go.
That's all right. It is illegal. That's why we're arresting you.
In New Jersey, a man is in the news for a tale as old as time. He's bringing the coffee company Dunkin' up on charges, and you'll never guess why. He spilled coffee into his lap.
Put donuts back in the name. That's probably why he's pissed.
Thank you. His attorney claims that the incident left him with 2nd and 3rd degree burns to his pelvic area, and he's seeking money in damages.
I believe that it left 2nd and 3rd degree burns to your pelvic area. That's why we try not to spill coffee in our laps.
Exactly. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. More Men's Room on the way with the Men's Room Happy Hour exclusively on the Odyssey app. We'll see you in minutes.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.